On to the people obstruction. There's good in this world. I'm not a misanthrope that hates people. But we must learn how to protect ourselves against people who are using us and the evil and toxic people. We must. And that makes life happy. Now, the people who see only good in everybody, they are unprotected. You don't want to be that. You want to have a boundary. It doesn't mean you hate anybody. It just means you want to choose what you do with your time. You don't want people coming to you, they interrupt your life, and then you have to adapt to them. That means you're always in reaction. You don't want to be a reactor. You want to be a creator. You create, and they have to react to you. I don't want to be always in reaction. That's a very subnormal life. I want to create my routines and my day and my life. You must protect yourself from evil because it will be increasing in the latter days. The Bible says in 2 Timothy 3:1-9, "But understand this, in the last days terrible times will come, for men will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boastful, arrogant, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, unloving, unforgiving, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, without love of good, traitors, reckless, conceited, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying its power. Turn away from such as these. They are the kind who worm their way into households and captivate vulnerable women who are weighed down with sins and led astray by various passions, who are always learning but never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. Just as Jannes and Jambres opposed Moses, so also these men oppose the truth. They are depraved in mind and disqualified from the faith, but they will not advance much further, for just like them, their folly will be plain to everyone." That's the truth. People are getting more evil. It's not your imagination. They are getting more evil and more selfish, out for themselves. They will flatter to get in your door and then start in on you. Start planning how to take everything. If they're not solidly with God, then by default, Satan rules them. And you can't listen to their words and think they're charming. Charm is how they get in, especially with women. They use charm. You've got to be shrewd and understand that selfishness reigns the latter days. It is Satan. That's why you have to protect yourself. And doesn't mean you hate people. You'd love to have good friends. You're a compassionate person. You have empathy. You feel sorry for people. But you've also been taken in one too many times. Looking at your past archetypically does help. When you realize it wasn't Tom, Dick, and Harry who stole from you or ruined you, it was principalities and powers. They were just playing a role. Let's say you relocate to get away from Harry. If you haven't changed yet, you're going to bring in another Harry. You're going to attract in that because it's principalities and powers. That helped me a lot to get rid of grudges. Just to not be grudge against people. They're probably old and sick or in a rest home or whatever now. It doesn't matter. They probably can't even remember it. So think of people as archetypes and not people. That will remove your resentment. They made a good point in the Charlie Kirk ceremony yesterday that he said, without God, freedom becomes chaos. Freedom to sin. This was the hippies. They came in the 60s and 70s. They wanted to do everything without any laws or morals and to break out of all that structure. But freedom to sin becomes a desolate life, a boring life, an unsatisfying life. And the more you try to satiate it, the worse it gets, and it just ends in doom. But with God, that's the true freedom, because you're not hampered with the desire for approval or to be seen or to get attention, because you just want God's attention. And you realize that people come and go. They aren't that important. It's God. God is eternal. You just seek Him, and that relieves you of all the chaos of modern society, which is getting more wretched every day. Just separate out. When you're with people, be cordial, be shrewd, note how to navigate the situation, but don't get hooked in. Don't get sucked into the drama. No more drama. Stay free of drama. It's hard for women who have had narcissistic mothers. Do you know a narc mom will smear campaign her own daughters? It's hard to realize, but she'll gossip to anybody who will listen against her own daughter. I guess she's jealous of her. Narcissistic mothers are terrible. They mess up their sons, that's for sure, but it's their daughters. This is another thing we have to get over. Stop worshiping people. We tend to we see the mother archetype as a saint. But then that degrades us because of what she did. Stuff like that, gossiping about her own daughter. Abandon the saint mother image, and then you become the saint. You get yourself back. That was an introjection. You swallowed her whole, and it screwed up your whole life. Instead, see reality for what it is. All people are sinners. Forgive her, and then get yourself back. A girl or a boy, but particularly the girls, if they've had an abusive childhood, later on in a relationship, calmness feels boring. They want the excitement of the drama, the ups and downs and the makeups and the violence, even the violence followed by makeups, up and down, up and down. The nervous system has adapted to that. So they create drama. They create a tantrum to create excitement. It's very hard for the men to adapt to women like that. Women are screwed up. Ever since feminism, you see, they refuse to submit. The Bible says we're to submit to our husbands and to those in authority. It was hard for me to learn to submit to my husband. But when I finally did, everything went fine in my life. Everything went perfectly. Before that, I was rebellious, and everything was horrible. Submission. They can't submit to the owner. They can't submit to the boss. They're just angry all the time. They refuse to do things right. It's a horrible life. Submission is the answer. But you think they're going to do that? You think a girl that's brought up in a feminist tradition with a feminist mother is ever going to submit to a man? No. It's very hard for men in their 20s and 30s and 40s to find girls who are on top of things. You know, slender, fit, moral, decent, compassionate, helpful, able to respect a man and not fight him constantly, compete with him. Somebody's got to rule. Somebody's got to lead. The man leads. That's the way it is. But women can't submit. They're angry. When they get married, it's just competition with the husband. And it ends up in disaster. Now that's the truth. Learning to submit will make your whole life rosy. Disrespect for men. A woman gets bored with a nice man. She wants the bad boy. For men, the way to make a woman fall in love with you is not caring what she thinks. Because if you become too conciliatory, too concerned. I mean, I've met men who all they do is apologize constantly. They've been brought up by feminist mothers, I guess. They're just constantly apologizing. I think it comes from previous relationships where women are fighting them all the time, accusing them of not respecting them enough. Here the girl is a lousy housekeeper, but she wants respect, you know. And she does ridiculous things. She flirts with other men in his presence. She goes out a girls' night out and with other men and can't be trusted, yet she wants respect because morality has been lost. So if you want a woman to fall in love with you, don't care what she thinks, because that will trigger her to be more interested in you. If you're a good guy who's too concerned, you're just boring to her. Unfortunately, that's the way things have become. Woman will admire a man who has a mission, who can see to eternity, and who's not going to put up with your crap. A woman will admire that man. She's not going to fight with him. She's only going to fight with the docile, apologetic, weak man. Inwardly, she doesn't respect it. Women respect, from a prehistoric sense, a man who can protect her and be strong. And that's a man with a mission, who's above all this, and who won't put up with it. Put your foot down. Don't go along with this. Female culture has lost morality. They don't know how to act. They don't know what to think. You should have seen me. I just would hate to even think about it. Before I realized, oh, there is a structure to life. There is morality, and this is a better way of doing it. And that man isn't hurting me. I just am fighting him because he's a man. And I want to rule. I'm trying to rule. And stuff like that. I finally had to realize that. Those girls haven't realized it. They've been brought up by their mothers, their feminist grandmothers, the feminist culture. All the sitcoms on TV are of a docile, kind of foolish man, kind of stupid, foolish man, and an imperious, strong-willed woman. The roles have reversed, and it spells doom. Feel really good lacto-fruitarian now. So many maladies were cleared up. Having multiple chemical sensitivities, MCS. We have to rotate our meals because we get allergic if it's the same thing. And I think that happens with staying too long, high carb, fruitarianism, or low carb. I have to switch to the other. And it always feels really good to switch back into low carb and high fat, using almond butter, cheese if I want to. I'm not too into avocados anymore. They kind of revolt me. I don't know. I gave them to my neighbors, but Swiss cheese I like with tomato and low carb fruit smoothies like strawberries and almond butter. It's working really well. Maladies have cleared up. I had a really sore left shoulder. It's gone. I had acid reflux. It's gone. And after a while on this, I will crave the sweet and the starch and go back into high carb. It's very interesting. Reversal dieting seems to really work for people like me who tend to get allergic if it's the same thing. I need something different for the body to work on. I was thinking about squirrels. They are nutarians. They eat nuts and seeds and fruits. And if desperate, they'll eat small insects and even small animals. If you're desperate, you'll eat anything. Whereas chimpanzees are fruitarian, but they will also eat nuts and seeds and insects if desperate. Now, man is omnivorous. He can exist on any diet. But there are some that are more optimal for him. I believe fruitarianism is optimal. Yes, he can exist on mac and cheese and french fries and pizzas. He can exist, but it's not optimal. and you can tell by looking at his health. So, nutarianism is basically a subdivision of fruitarianism, and when I'm in the low carb, it's nuts and cheese, tomatoes, a low carb fruit, green beans, low carb vegetables, almond butter, and leaves. And I am really flying high. I enjoy the switch. If you hit a glitch, simply switch. If you're able to, you could try carb cycling, which would be like a high carb breakfast for your energy, and then a low carb lunch. I usually need longer on a diet to see the effects than switching like 2 or 3 hours. But a lot of people do very well on carb cycling. CC, you may want to try that. Simply staying on that diet at that meal and switching to the other for the next meal. People may say, well, lacto-fruitarianism, come on, that's not fruitarianism. No, I beg to differ. Vegetarianism is eating fruits and vegetables with, like, ovo vegetarianism would be with eggs. Rasta vegetarianism would be with fish, and lacto vegetarianism would be with dairy. So I call this lacto-fruitarianism. It's fruit and dairy. Fruit and cheese goes together perfectly. It's very French and very Italian, and it works. If you don't want to eat meat, but you feel you need protein, and you want to slim down through low carb, because the first thing that happens is you lose a lot of water, because carbs hold water, and you're just going to be eating low carb. It's just maybe 2 to 5 pounds of water will eliminate. So if you want that, then I would suggest cheese. I love Swiss cheese, cheddar cheese, mozzarella, Parmesan, and I've noticed my animals go crazy with cheese. My dogs love cheese. If I open up the bag and they're way across the yard or the house, they can smell it through 3 rooms. They come running. I can't get rid of them. If they think I got cheese, they stick right by me. They are users. And cats love cheese. Squirrels are nutarians. Mice love cheese. That's how they catch mice, with cheese. So be like Mickey Mouse. Cheese. It'll make you cute. It's very satiating, yet doesn't take up any room. No bulk. I like it much better than avocado for my fat. And I like my high-fat days. They're energetic. They're happy. The protein jolt, it's very high in protein, as much as meat, cheeses. It's really a nice change from the high carb. So you see, it's a vacation. You're constantly vacationing from one to another. You go high carb, vacation, high sugar fruit vacation. You go into low carb, I want a vacation. Cheese. Makes life nice. Some species, like the higher species on the ladder, are Oligiphagous, meaning existing on fewest varieties. And I can see that. You know, people say, you should have massive variety. No, I think that you exist better on fewest variety. It's less for the body to adapt to. It learns how to adapt to that, and then you have more energy left over. Like a lion just eats certain things, the highest species. Yes, consider that. Find the things that you like and just eat that. No matter what they say.